Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well this morning. Well, for Monday, especially a Monday after the holidays, man, those got to be the worst. Anyway, hope you had a great weekend. A lot of great college basketball games on this weekend. We also had some. They finished up the bowl games on Friday before the CFP semifinals this week. We'll go over those. We'll go over the basketball. Got a lot of news items to get to. Before we start, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. Let's get to it. Ole Miss beat Georgia, of course, in the CFP quarterfinals. Great game. Lane Kiffin gets a $500,000 bonus for that. That's just crazy. Here's my question too. Let's say Ole Miss, it's their year, go all the way, win the national championship. Does the school, Ole Miss, get Kiffin a ring, or does he have to buy his own? Because you know if they don't get him, he's going to buy one for himself and say, "Yeah, God, I was national champion." You know he is. That's my question on that. Anyway, North Carolina State quarterback C.J. Bailey, he will return next season to North Carolina State. Kansas State quarterback Avery Johnson, he is coming back. He says he's got some unfinished business there with the Wildcats. Ole Miss quarterback Austin Simmons, who started the season for the Rebels, he's entering the transfer portal. Texas tight end Jack Andres, he's going to hit the NFL draft. Cincinnati quarterback Brendan Sorsby found himself a home, Texas Tech. Kentucky quarterback Cutter Bowley transfers to Arizona State. 2,160 yards, 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in the final 10 games there. Clemson, they are bringing back Chad Morris as their OC. He was their OC from 2011 to 2014 before hitting off to SMU. He's coming back. Eric Morris, North Texas coach, took off for Oklahoma State. There are a crapload of North Texas State players following him to Oklahoma State. Quarterback Drew Mestamaker, who's one of the best in the country. Running back Caleb Hawkins. Wide receiver Wyatt Young. Wide receiver Miles Coleman. Wide receiver Terrence Lewis. Safety Quentin Hammonds. And guard Johnny Dixon. So far, they are all going with him to Oklahoma State. I wouldn't be surprised if more follow him because he had a great team with some good players. So we'll see what else happens there. Nebraska, they get Notre Dame quarterback Kenny Minchie. Central Florida, they got James Madison quarterback Alonzo Barnett. Great quarterback. You got to see. Okay, so before NIL and all this money stuff, I highly doubt he'd be going to Central Florida. If he was looking to go somewhere else, he'd be going to some big over-the-top program. You know he would, but that's what that's doing. That is exactly what that's doing, kind of evening out everything. Even though I'm not a big fan of it, still evening out things. So, Wisconsin, they get Old Dominion quarterback Colton Joseph. Old Dominion had that great season. Won 10 games, I think, with their bowl game. So he's going to go somewhere else. Georgia defensive tackle Christian Miller, NFL draft. Colorado gets San Jose State wide receiver Danny Cesario. I think that's how you say his name. Led the nation in receiving yards and won the Blitnikoff Award. So Colorado's getting them a good receiver there. Iowa State quarterback Rocco Beck. He is following Matt Campbell to Penn State. Louisville running back Isaac Brown. He's decided that he's going to stay at Louisville next year, so that's good for them. Michigan State wide receiver Nick Marsh. He's transferring to Indiana. Ohio State wide receiver Mylan Graham announced he's hitting the transfer portal. And the last bit of news, although with all this transfer portal news, there's probably players right now committing. I mean, it's just crazy right now. Wisconsin River Falls. They beat North Central 24-14 in the Division III football championship. Their very first title. North Central, they won it last year. Wisconsin River Falls denied them 2 in a row. They win their first national championship in football. Congratulations to them. All right, so going back to Friday, Sam Houston, in basketball, they fell to 8-4, lost to 7-5 Western Kentucky. Cal, they moved to 13-2, beat 10-5 Notre Dame, 72-71. Santa Clara, they moved to 12-4, They beat Pepperdine 82-63. St. Mary's, they moved to 14-2. They beat Portland 78-57. 7-9 Washington State beat 10-6 Loyola Marymount 78-76. Cougars shot 51% from the field. Loyola Marymount shot 44%. Number 7 Gonzaga beat 12-4 Seattle 80-72 in overtime. Huff for Gonzaga 28 points. Ike came off the bench. He had 24 points, 10 rebounds. Molodondo led the way for Seattle, 17 points. Gonzaga 49% from the field. Seattle only shot 36% from the field. Great win for Nebraska. Number 13 Nebraska beat number 9 Michigan State 58-56. Fans stormed the court. I'm sure there's some fines coming for that. Nebraska's massed 19.7 rebounds, followed by Sanford, who had 13 points. They shot 32% from the field, had 15 less rebounds, still won that game. Kohler led the way for Michigan State, 19 points, 11 rebounds, followed by Fierce, 14 points. They shot 34% from the field. They did have 9 more turnovers in that game. So great win for Nebraska basketball. Number 16, Louisville, lost to 12-3 Stanford, 80-76. Stanford's Okori, 28 points in that game, followed by Okapara, 17 points in that game. Louisville's Cornwell, he led the way, 18.7 rebounds. Number 2, Michigan beat number 24 USC, 96-66. Johnson for Michigan, 29 points, 6 rebounds. Braunwell came off the bench for USC, be their leading scorer, 16.6 rebounds. Rob Morris, they moved to 11-5, beat Detroit, 85-77. Detroit led by 5 at halftime. Iona, they moved to 10-5. They beat 9-5 Siena by 3. Liberty moved to 10-3. They beat 8-5 Kennesaw State, 81-73. 7-8 Manhattan beat 10-5 Quinnipiac, 80-79. Quinnipiac led by 14 points at halftime, just kind of blew it. McNeese moved to 11-3. They beat Lamar across the border here, 82-70. Moving to football, Armed Forces Bowl. Rice got in a bowl game, which I was happy about. Didn't work out too well for them. Texas State beat them 41-10. Texas State's Jackson, 173 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to Down Jr. Parr rushed for 106 rushing yards and a touchdown. His touchdown was a 63-yard run. Rice, 3 quarterbacks played, only 94 total yards, 1 touchdown. Both only converted on third down twice in that game. Can you believe that? Both defense had 3 sacks. Texas State ends 7-6. Rice ends the season 5-8. Liberty Bowl, number 22 Navy beat Cincinnati 35-13. Navy's Horvath, 108 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, also ran for a touchdown. Cincinnati's Leitenberg, 78 passing yards, touchdown, and interception. You know they were missing Sorsby, who's now a Texas Tech Red Raider. Duke's Mayo Bowl, Wake Forest beat Mississippi State 43-29. Wake Forest's Ashford, 303 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, ran for 50 and 2 touchdowns also. Bartley, 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. That happened quite a lot in these bowl games this year. If it wasn't 100 yards, it was 90 yards. I mean, there's some kickoff returns for touchdowns I've noticed in this bowl season. Taylor from Mississippi State, 241 passing yards and a touchdown. He also ran for 63 and a touchdown. They only 3 for 14 on third down. Wake Forest ends the year 9-4. Mississippi State 5-8. Remember Mississippi State started? Then they start off 4-0. Almost beat Texas, blew that one, and they just kind of fell for the rest of the season. They ended up 5-8. So they got some work to do in the offseason. Holiday Bowl. Once again, a great Holiday Bowl and Sun Bowl. Always good games, and they were. The Holiday Bowl, SMU beat number 17 Arizona 24-19. SMU's Jennings, 278 passing yards, 3 interceptions. Harden, 2 rushing touchdowns. Fifita, I don't know if that's how you say his name. I hear it pronounced different. I just say Fifita for Arizona. Good game. 265 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Barmore, Watley have TD catches. Arizona kind of slept in the first half of this game. I don't know if you saw it. I saw it. SMU was just all over them. No points. finally woke up in the second half and started playing like Arizona. Scored 19 points. Just that first half, though, them not doing anything kind of kicked them in the ass. Both of them finished 9-4, so both of them have pretty good seasons. Saturday basketball, 10-5 Troy beat 11-5 South Alabama, 59-49. Stephen F. Austin moved to 12-2. They beat Southeastern Louisiana, 73-63. George Mason, they moved to 14-1, beat Rhode Island, 61-50. Marshall moved to 10-5. They beat Appalachian State, 88-81. 2-14 South Carolina State beat 9-7 Howard by 1. South Carolina State's Johnson, 24 points in that game. 11-3 Texas A&M. I watched this game. Gave LSU a skip, their second loss of the season. Won by 3. However, missed field goals and a couple bad fouls at the end of that game kept LSU in it. So yeah, A&M, and there's another team. Who was it? Missouri. I watched that Missouri-Florida game. You guys need to work on your free throws because it's going to cost your asses one of these days, both of y'all. Utah State moved to 12-1, beat San Jose State 96-78. North Dakota State moved to 12-5, beat Oral Roberts by 2. Took 2 overtimes to do that. Miami of Ohio, they moved to 15-0. They beat 10-4 Akron by 3. Miami of Ohio's Byers, 26 points. Akron actually led this game by 3 at halftime. Oklahoma, they moved to 11-3. They beat Ole Miss 86-70. Georgia Southern, they moved to 12-5, beat Old Dominion 93-86. Tennessee Martin, they moved to 11-4, beat Eastern Illinois 65-61. Eastern Illinois led by 7 at halftime. Lindenwood, they moved to 10-5, beat Southern Indiana 83-80. Number 18 Arkansas beat number 19 Tennessee 86-25. That was a pretty damn good game. A-Cup for Arkansas, 29 points. Thomas came off the bench, scored 18 points. They shot 42% from the field, 29 for 33 from the free throw line. Looks like Arkansas might need to go talk to Texas A&M and Missouri about free throw shooting. Tennessee's Evans, leading scorer off the bench, 16 points. Gillespie behind him, 14 points. They were 49% from the field, so they shot a little better. They were 12 for 23 from the free throw line. Colorado moved to 11-3. They beat 9-5 Arizona State, 95-89. Colorado, 32 for 38 from the free throw line in that game. UCLA, they fell to 10-4, lost to number 25 Iowa, 74-61. Iowa's Sturts, 27 points. He hit 4 3-pointers by himself. 9-6 Abilene Christian beat 12-4 Utah Valley, 85-68. Abilene's Christian's Hubbard, 22 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 steals in that one. 12-2, this is another good one. 12-2 SMU beat number 12 North Carolina, 97-83. SMU's Miller, 27 points. Washington behind him, 23 points, 6 rebounds. He hit 5 3-pointers in that game. SMU, 60% from the field. They hit 14 3-pointers in that one. Tar Heels Trimble, he had 22 points, followed by Stevenson, 16 points. They shot 48% from the field. They hit 12 3-pointers. Let's see, 9-5 South Carolina. South Carolina fell to 8-5, lost to number 11 Vandy, 83-71. Vanderbilt, 51% from the field. They grabbed 12 more rebounds. Another upset, 12-1 Central Florida beat number 17 Kansas, 81-75. How do you say his name for Central Florida? Kungo? Anyway, 19 points. Led the way. They shot 44% from the field. Peterson from Kansas, he led the way, 26 points, 6 rebounds, hit 5 3-pointers. They shot 43% from the field. They did turn the ball over 5 more times, though, than Central Florida. 8-7 James Madison beat 10-5 Arkansas State by 4. Buffalo, they moved to 13-2. They beat Ball State 85-72. Hofstra is 11-4. They beat Drexel 70-67. George Washington, they moved to 11-4. Beat LaSalle 72-55. George Washington's Castro, 26 points, 14 rebounds. Nice game for him. Georgia Tech, they moved to 10-5. They beat Boston College 65-53. Boston College shot 27% from the field and had 12 less rebounds in that game. So it's no wonder they lost that one. Navy, they moved to 10-5, beat Holy Cross 65-58. Dayton moved to 11-4, beat Loyola Chicago 70-68. In overtime, Bowling Green moved to 11-4. They beat UMass 101-100. Bowling Green's Campbell, 47 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. Incredible, totally incredible. 11-3 TCU beat 10-3 Baylor 69-63. Robinson for TCU came off the bench, scored 13 points, 10 rebounds. They only shot 38% from the field. They did have 11 more rebounds than Baylor. Carr led the way for the Bears, 17 points. They shot 37% from the field. High Point moved to 14-3. They beat Longwood 80-67. High Point's Anderson, 29 points, 8 rebounds. Number 15, Texas Tech, beating up 12-2. Oklahoma State, 102-80. Toppin for the Red Raiders, 23 points, 14 rebounds. Watson, Anderson each had 19 points for the Red Raiders. They hit 17 three-pointers. On the Cowboys side of the ball, Roy, 22 points, 8 rebounds. He hit 6 three-pointers by himself. Fala behind him, 20 points, 5 rebounds. He hit 8 three-pointers. Overtime, Auburn fell to 9-5, lost to number 23 Georgia, 104-100. Wilkinson for Georgia, 31 points, 6 rebounds. Georgia, every year, non-conference, they do great. They get ranked. When conference play starts coming around in January, we've seen it. They start losing games. Now, last year, they beat a couple good teams. Who they beat? They beat Kentucky, I think somebody else. Beat a couple good teams, so you thought things were going to change, but then they slowly went. So, they're ranked 23rd this year, and you're wondering, are they going to keep that up, or are they going to take their usual route and start going back down again? We'll see what happens with them, but anyway, they won, beat Auburn Saturday. So Wofford, they're 10-5, beat Citadel 95-86. Makowski, is that how you say it for Wofford? Makowski, 37 points in this game. He hit 8 three-pointers. Let's see here. What else we got? Kent State moved 11-3, beat Northern Illinois by 4. Gillespie for Kent State, 28 points, 9 rebounds. Kentucky, they fell to 9-5. Lost to number 14 Alabama, 89-74. Holloway for Alabama, 26 points. He had 6 three-pointers by himself. 12-2, Villanova beat 10-5 Butler, 85-67. All 5 starters on Villanova's team scored double-digit points in that game. 11-4, VCU beat 9-6 Duquesne, 93-80. Clemson, they moved to 12-3. They beat Pitt, 73-68. 8-6 Providence beat 9-5 St. John's, 77-71. Providence only shot 39% from the field, won that game. But they did 21 for 28 from the free throw line. Temple moved to 10-5. They beat UTSA, 76-57. 10-5 Wake Forest beat 12-3 Virginia Tech, 81-78. Hokies had 18 turnovers. NC State fell to 10-5. Lost to number 21 Virginia, 76-71. Virginia, 50% from the field, 13 three-pointers. They grabbed 16 more rebounds than the Wolfpack. UC San Diego, 12-3. They beat 11-3 Hawaii, 83-73. This one was a great game. Great win for Missouri. They moved to 11-3, beat number 22 Florida, 76-74. Florida, number 22, and they were national champions last year. Missouri's Robinson, 19 points, 8 rebounds. They shot 46% from the field, 18 for 30 from the free throw line. Those missed field goals, or those missed free throws in the end, they were keeping Florida in that game. That's why I said earlier, Missouri needs to work on their free throw shooting, because towards the end there's like, if I remember right, 6 or 7 times they were up there at the free throw line and would only make one or miss both. I was like, these guys are going to lose this game because they're missing free throws. Luckily, things worked out for them, and they won. Florida's Ho, 24 points, 7 rebounds. They shot 41% from the field. Great win for Missouri. They needed that one. UT Arlington's 10-5. They beat Southern Utah 86-77. UT Arlington's McCreary, 39 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals. He hit 8 3-pointers. Hell of a game for him. Wisconsin fell to 9-5, lost to number 5 Purdue, 89-73. Colorado State, they moved to 10-4. They beat 8-5 Grand Canyon by 10. Grand Canyon down this year. They're 8-5. They've last several years they've had a pretty good basketball program. New Mexico, they moved to 11-3. Beat 10-4 Wyoming by 20. Buljon from New Mexico, 25 points, 12 rebounds. Penn State fell to 9-5. They lost to number 20 Illinois, 73-65. Illinois, 23 for 28 from the free throw line. They grabbed 12 more rebounds. Nevada moved to 11-3. They beat Fresno State by 3. Fresno State actually had better post-game stats and lost the game. So there you go. UC Irvine, they moved to 11-5. They beat Cal State Fullerton, 86-64. North Carolina Wilmington, they moved to 14-2. They beat Hampton 49-45. 8-7 Montana beat 10-5 Northern Colorado 88-79. Williams for Montana, 31 points. He was 17 for 17 from the free throw line. He hit all his freaking free throws. Oh, and he had 5 assists also. Mississippi State, great road win for them. They beat Texas 101-98 in overtime. Both of them are 9-5 now. Moving to yesterday. 8-8 Southern Illinois beat 13-3 Belmont, 68-67. Murray State, they moved to 13-3, beat 10-6 Bradley by 20. Northern Iowa, they moved to 12-3, beat Evansville 62-48. 10-5 North Texas beat 13-2 Tulsa, 72-67. Tulsa, 10 more turnovers in that game, probably what added to their loss there. Northern Kentucky, 12-5. They beat Youngstown State, 94-79. 8-8 Oakland. They beat 11-6 Rob Morris. Garrett for Oakland, 30 points, 3 steals in that game. Liberty moved to 11-3. They beat Jacksonville State, 78-69. Siena moved to 10-5. They beat Rider, 74-65. Rider is 1-12. They've only won 1 game this year. Those poor guys, man. Quinnipiac moved to 11-5, beat Mount St. Mary's 80-69. Randall for Quinnipiac, 25 points. Monroe had 12 rebounds for them. In 2 overtimes, UAB beat South Florida 109-100. Close the entire game, though. It was a close game the whole way out. 2-point game at halftime. Tulane moved 11-4, beat Florida Atlantic by 3. Florida Atlantic led by 14 at halftime. Led by 4 at halftime, but had 18 turnovers throughout the game there. St. Thomas, Minnesota, they moved to 12-4. They beat Denver 92-88. Janwicki from St. Thomas, Minnesota, 31 points, 7 rebounds. Hell of a game for him. Richmond moved 11-4. They beat Fordham 83-75. Seton Hall moved to 13-2. They beat Creighton by 2. Both shot under 36% in that game. San Fran, they moved to 11-6. They beat Portland 73-68. Pacific moved to 11-6. They beat Pepperdine 74-69. Pacific's Ralph, 22 points, 10 rebounds. Nice game for him. St. Mary's moved to 15-2. They beat 12-5 Seattle 93-76. St. Mary's Maruscas, 30 points, 15 rebounds. Hell of a game. Indiana moved 11-3. They beat 9-5 Washington 90-80. Only 4 turnovers. Both these teams only had 4 turnovers in that game. That's pretty cool. All right, upcoming. A lot of these colleges are still on Christmas break, so you got games during the day this week. Some of the games during the day are kind of but some of them are good. So we'll go over a few here that kind of stand out. Like today, 5:30 on FS1, number 13 Nebraska versus 10-3 Ohio State. 6:30 on ESPN Plus, 12-2 Stephen F. Austin versus 11-3 McNeese. McNeese has had a good basketball program the last couple of years. And then 7:30 on FS1, number 24 USC versus number 9 Michigan State. And then tonight, FCS Football Championship, 6:30 on ESPN. It's going to be a good one. Illinois State versus Montana State for all the marbles. They usually play this game on Sunday, but I guess they moved it to Monday to try to get ratings. I don't know. Anyway, I'd rather have seen it on Sunday afternoon. Maybe they just didn't want to go up against the NFL on the NFL's last weekend. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, FCS championship game tonight. That'd be a pretty good one. Tomorrow, basketball, 6 p.m. FS1, number 2 Michigan versus 9-5 Penn State. 6 p.m. on ESPN, number 6 Duke versus number 16 Louisville. That I made a pretty good one there. 6 p.m. on the SEC Network, number 23 Georgia versus number 22 Florida. Florida's still number 22. They vote today, if I remember right. So Florida may not even be number 22 by the time they play. 6 p.m. on Peacock, 9-5 St. John's versus 10-5 Butler. 6 p.m. on the ACC Network, 9-5 Syracuse versus 10-5 Georgia Tech. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus, 11-4 Bowling Green versus 11-3 Kent State. 6 p.m. on ESPNU, 9-5 South Carolina versus 12-2 LSU. 7 p.m. on Big Ten Network, number 25 Iowa versus 9-5 Minnesota. 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network, 11-5 George Washington versus 11-4 Dayton. 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus, 12-1 Central Florida versus 12-2 Oklahoma State. 8 p.m. on FS1. That'll be a good one here. Number 15 Texas Tech versus number 8 Houston. 8 p.m. on ESPN. 11-3 TCU versus number 17 Kansas. 8 p.m. on ESPN2. 9-5 Texas versus number 19 Tennessee. Texas going over there to Knoxville. Texas, I think they're looking for their second loss in a row. 8 p.m. on SEC Network. 11-3 Texas A&M versus 9-5 Auburn. 8 p.m. on Mountain West Network. 11-3 New Mexico versus 10-4 Colorado State. 8 p.m. on Peacock. 10-4 UCLA versus 9-5 Wisconsin. 10 p.m. on FS1. 9-4 San Diego State versus 11-3 Nevada. Moving to Wednesday, 6 p.m. on ESPN2. 11-3 Missouri versus 9-5 Kentucky. 6 p.m. on SEC Network. 11-3 Oklahoma versus 9-5 Mississippi State. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 13-3 Belmont versus 12-3 Northern Iowa. 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 11-4 Richmond versus 11-3 St. Bonaventure. 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. 13-1 St. Louis versus 11-4 VCU. 6 p.m. on the ACC Network. This ought to be a pretty good one. Stanford versus Virginia Tech. Both of them are 12-3. 6 p.m. on the ESPNU. 12-2 Miami versus 10-5 Wake Forest. 7 p.m. on Peacock. Number 3 Iowa State versus 10-3 Baylor. 7 p.m. on the ESPN Plus. Troy versus Arkansas State. Both of them are 10-5. 7:30 on Big Ten Network. 9-4 Washington. Might be looking for their second loss. Number 5 Purdue. So they may look for their second loss also. 8 p.m. on the FS1. 9-5 Kansas State versus number 1 Arizona. 8 p.m. on Peacock. 9-5 Arizona State versus wait a minute, not 8 p.m. FS1, 9-5 Kansas. I said Kansas State, right? Kansas State versus number 1 Arizona. Then 8 p.m. on Peacock, 9-5 Arizona State versus number 10 BYU. Did I get those mixed up? 8 p.m. on ESPN2. Hey, here we go. Number 14 Alabama versus number 11 Vanderbilt. 8 p.m. on the ACC Network. Another good one. 13-2 Cal versus number 21 Virginia. And then 8 p.m. on the ESPNU. Another good one. Number 12 SMU versus 12-3 Clemson. Thursday, lots of games on Thursday. Only one stands out. It's a late one. 10:30 on ESPN2. 12-4 Santa Clara versus number 7 Gonzaga. Which is good because the CFP starts Thursday night. 6:30 on ESPN. This is the Fiesta Bowl semifinal. Number 10 Miami versus number 6 Ole Miss. Can Ole Miss keep that magic going? They're trying to prove something without Lane Kiffin around. Miami, though, Miami's looking pretty damn good, especially in the trenches there. So we'll see what happens there. And then Friday, the other semifinal game, Peach Bowl. Number 5 Oregon versus number 1 Indiana. Can Indiana keep that magic going? They already beat Oregon once. We'll see what happens then. We'll see if Oregon learned from that and what Indiana can do to improve on their performance. And that's it. That's it. Not going to be a review show this week because My wife's family's coming in from Louisiana later in the week. We're going to have Christmas with them. So, we had Christmas a couple weeks ago, and we're going to have another Christmas with them. But we'll be back on Sunday or a week from today, Monday, to go over basketball and the CFP games and all that. So maybe a little extra long show on Monday because we'll be going back through the week, but or on Sunday. I may do it Sunday. It depends on what time family leaves on Sunday. Anyway, yeah, it's Monday again. After the holidays, it sucks, but hey, keep your head down. There's basketball on today. Not that great of games, but hey, something to keep you busy while you're at work. So anyway, keep your head down. Keep busy. Watch some sports online. Weekend will be in before you know it here again. We will see you next Sunday or Monday.